Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am honored to rise today to commemorate the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women, which is recognized on December the 6th. This day was established by the Parliament of Canada in 1991 to honor the lives of the 14 women who were so senselessly murdered at École Polytechnique in Montreal in 1989. This year, on December 6th, marks 30 years since that very tragic massacre. And many of us will remember where we were that day. For others who were not yet born, the National Day of Remembrance will serve to remind us of those women whose lives were tragically cut short 30 years ago. And while it is a difficult reminder, we must pause and reflect to ensure that we take action to stop the violence. The Montreal Massacre, as it is known, was a watershed moment. It was clearly an attack on women, as the killer intentionally separated the women from the men in order to murder them. Madam Speaker, it is documented that the killer said, "I hate feminists." This time in history inspired a new dialogue with all Canadians. In addition to honoring those lives lost, we must acknowledge the suffering of countless women and girls who face abuse every day of their lives. We must recognize the toll that gender-based violence is taking on all of us: women, men, children, neighborhoods, communities, and workplaces. Society as a whole is negatively impacted, and we must take action. Even the smallest actions by each and every one of us can make a meaningful change. We must speak out when we see any acts of violence or harassment of any kind. And we must teach our children to be kind and compassionate. We must help our youth understand that what healthy relationships look like, and how to reach out for help when needed. We must support those dedicated frontline workers and organizations working to promote women's equality and gender-based violence and address gender-based violence. We must denounce misogyny. And on December 6th, the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women, there will be many memorial services and vigils throughout our province. And I would like to personally invite all of my colleagues in the Chamber to join us on the morning of December 6th at our Manitoba Legislature for a memorial service to recognize all the women and girls affected by gender-based violence. We will honor the memory of the 14 women killed in the Montreal Massacre in 1989 and the women in our province who died in acts of violence in 2019. Madam Speaker, I would ask that we observe a moment of silence to mourn the women we have lost. Thank you, Madam Speaker.